everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about American Horror Stories Episode 3, Drive. Drive begins with two women named Marcy and Piper who are partying at a nightclub. Marcy grows interest in Wyatt and the two become physically involved in Marcy's car. The night takes a turn as Marcy travels home where a red Jeep begins following her. The driver flashes his lights and even rams into the back of her car. Marcy returns home to her husband Chaz, who suggested going out with her to protect her because there has been disappearance of men and women from nightclubs throughout the area. So this episode throws in an urban legend about a woman who was trailed home at night in the same manner Marcy had been. The urban legend moved the narrative further only under the jest of catching the killer before they harm someone else. So this urban legend is called The Killer in the Back Seat. I like how the writer pays a little homage to one of my favorite movies called Urban Legend. Someone's in the back seat! And I love how this episode is tied into a crazy twist. A coincidental second encounter with the Jeep earns Marcy suspicious to a point that ends with her telling it and showing up at the owner's job. There she meets Paul, and the two have a tense conversation about the knives Marcy pretends to be interested in buying. So basically, Marcy became a stalker, in my opinion, when she started stalking Paul to see why he was doing what he was doing. So throughout the episode, it reveals that Paul was not the killer and Marcy is the real villain. Her character portrays as the antagonist. She abandons the warnings from her friend and the concerns of her husband and treats almost every character she comes in contact with unfairly. Even when Chaz expressed interest in separating, Marcy hardly acknowledged it before the very end, but the reason why she's doing the killings is with the help of her husband, and that she was bullied in school and no guy wasn't interested in her because of the birthmark on her face. So she chooses the guy that have a big ego and kills them. The husband hides the bodies in a wine cellar, and then Marcy decides to kill her best friend Piper because basically Piper put Marcy in her place now and told her about herself badly. And so Marcy did not like that at all. But let's be honest, it was the truth. So I'm glad that Piper had spoke up. Also, did you notice the Easter egg episode when Marcy and Piper surfed the web? They came across a couple of articles, and if you pause the episode at 11 minutes and 10 seconds, in the recommended articles, there's one titled, Do Aurora Doorbell Cameras Make You Safe? Which is a callback to the previous episode, which was episode 2. Aurora, I thought the episode was good. It brings some tension and the surprising twist, and it's not a lot of dialogue in this episode, which is fine. I think that one thing I may not like in this episode is the killing duo of Marcy and Chaz, because I feel like there was no need to have him in the episode because he really didn't bring a lot to the table with his characterization. I felt like the writer could have wrote this episode for Marcy only, and I think the audience would have liked that better. Because let's be honest, I felt like Marcy, of course, she was the main character, and Chaz, it was like he was just fading into the background. So it would have been better if Chaz was kind of like in the forefront with Marcy side by side, and they both was doing some crazy stuff together. But since Marcy was the one with the bad attitude and the one that was treating people unfairly, I think that Marcy would have been best on her own, and we wouldn't know about the husband that she had or anything like that. So I really enjoyed this episode. I think this episode was really good. Is it better than episode 2 and 1? Not really, but I would say that this episode do keeps you on your toes. Thank you for watching my channel. Make sure you like and subscribe, and until then, see you later.